Entry denied. You have criticized the government.
Sorry, last week you purchased too much meat and now your access to your money has been denied.
You haven't let the government know about this trip, and your access is denied.
You have gone over your carbon credit allowance of food this week and your access to food has been denied. A day in the life of UK school children 2035 with digital ID. You have gone over your electricity allowance this week and your access is denied. You have gone over your weekly travel limit and your access is denied.
Forcing behaviors, and BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly reporting everything that's going on, which would penalize, fine, people who don't have the appropriate behaviors.
And we're going to need to change behaviors
And short-sighted behaviors that undermine collective progress.
Entry denied. You have criticized the government.
Sorry, last week you purchased too much meat and now your access to your money has been denied.
You haven't let the government know about this trip, and your access is denied.
You have gone over your carbon credit allowance of food this week and your access to food has been denied. A day in the life of UK school children 2035 with digital ID. You have gone over your electricity allowance this week and your access is denied. You have gone over your weekly travel limit and your access is denied.
Forcing behaviors, and BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly reporting everything that's going on, which would penalize, fine, people who don't have the appropriate behaviors.
And we're going to need to change behaviors
And short-sighted behaviors that undermine collective progress.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 12, verse 5. It reads, "For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver is tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted." Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, so first and foremost, Kal Halayam La Alahaya Nawa, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakaha Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, the great millstone that rule well. Salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat. This is what living under social credit score and carbon footprint system will look like. Alright, you see that clip that I just played there twice? That is exactly how it will look like in this up and coming dystopian nightmare that is about to take over the whole world by the way of social credit score system, carbon footprint, and what have you so forth. That is going to be compatible with the RFID microchip. All right, there is what it is. This dystopian nightmare that this man is about to bring. All right, because that is a system of total control. All right, as I heard at the end of the clip. All right, these elites, these technocrats and what have you so forth, all speaking of being able to have control over the behavioral patterns of the citizens, of the people. All right, that is their true desire. All right, in order for them to have full compliance, you have to have measures in place that will make sure that the people them fall in line. Now, let me tell you something. That what they are speaking about and what they are implementing, that social credit score system, along with the carbon footprint and the RFID microchip and blockchain technology and these things. All right, this is the way forward. This is the way moving forward, and into you being worshiping the beast. This is how they're going to have you worshiping the beast, by you being compliant. All right, by you having that chip in your hand. All right, which is your proof of allegiance. All right, your proof of allegiance. Okay. Pursuant to this beast system, and you know having to follow every single policy and what have you so forth, all right, that you would keep in line so that you would always have a good credit score in order to be a part of this wicked dystopian society. All right, this is what it is. This is what it will look like. This is what it will look like, all right, where you have an aspect where you will be getting a monthly stipend, UBI, all right, whatever amount of credits they put, 1,000 or 2,000 credits or whatever, okay, within that UBI, which is the CBDC, all right, UBI, which is the Universal Basic Income, which will be the CBDC. All right, the central bank digital currency. All right, that UBI will be given to you by the central banks. All right, by the central bank. All right, which is actually being issued out by the central banks of all central banks, which is the Bank of International Settlement, because they are the ones that is spearheading. They are the architects. They are the ones that is heading this thing. All right, so you having those credits, all right, only being accessible by your microchip, your RFID microchip that is implanted in your hand or your forehead, all right, the Neuralink and what have you so forth, okay, and you having to play ball, being forced to play ball, all right, so which means what? You cannot speak out against the government, all right, and stuff like that. You know, you have to spend the money on what it is allotted to spend for, all right, and in the allotted areas for you to spend it. All right, that's why they're coming up with 15-minute cities and whatnot, so forth. So if you go beyond your 15-minute city, you wouldn't have access to your funds, to your digital funds, in order to make whatever purchase you might want to purchase or whatever the case may be. All right, you're not going to be able to spend how you want to spend it. All right, it basically is coupons, so you will spend it on what they tell you to spend it on. All right, your spending will be limited. There will be limitations to your spending, pursuant to what? To goods like meat, goods like milk and what have you so forth. You know, whatever you know, thing, you know, because and days where your carbon footprint, all right, days where your carbon footprint is going to come into play, okay, because pursuant to the carbon footprint, all right, it goes into different measures, not just the purchasing of food and particular food items, but also, like, for instance, travel. All right, because remember, you know, that a good part in their deception pursuing towards this carbon footprint is what they call this thing, climate control, climate change, and having control over the climate and what have you so forth. You know, you jumping on a plane 3-4 times for the year, that is a no, because you know you're bringing out too much carbon, you're exercising too much carbon emissions and what have you so forth. You know, all these things, you know, and if you don't comply, is what is going to decrease your social credit score. All right, this is something that is taking place in China. All right, and there are a lot of people that is feeling the hurt with it. All right, the government has shut you out. the government has shut out a lot of people, you know. This is how serious this thing is, and this just goes to show that what IUIC and ISUPK and Israelite of the Great Awakening and who else, boy? WFI and these guys, Believers of the Way and these guys. This just goes to show, you know, that bag of nonsense pursuing to sin being the MOTB and sleeping at white woman or hegemony, you know, or hegemony, I being the MOTB, you know, big nation, small nation, all them bag of bullcrap. That just, more and more we seeing that, hey, these men are false prophets. These men, you know, are basically, you know, they're given the broad impression that they sold out. There's what it is. They have sold out. All right? Because you can't tell me this is what the world is gearing towards. This is a system where the whole world is gearing towards digital ID. All right? Digital ID. Okay? Where they will be able to track and whatnot, because the digital ID, all right, will be incorporated with what? Biometrics, such as your eye scan, all right, your palm print, fingerprints, all these things that is going to be within the system, you know, facial recognition and whatnot, so forth, you know, all these things that is going to be in the system, all right, along with the digital ID, you know, so that, you know, once you're locked into that system with that digital ID and your biometrics and whatnot, so forth, you know, you would have to go according to the status quo of the system. All right? There's what it is. And everything is going to be monitored. Every purchase, everything, you know, taxation and all these things, every single thing is going to be, you know, is going to be monitored in time, on time, real time by blockchain technology. All right, this is why we're telling you, you know, Revelation 13:16, that mark, all right, in the Greek, which is charagma, that the RFID chip is the judgment mark of the beast, man. All right, the RFID microchip is the mark of the beast. All right. When I go to Revelation chapter 13, but verse 15, that clip that I just played, this is what it is speaking about. All right, when the man go to the grocery, they said he already bought enough groceries for his allotted groceries for the month. All right. A man get locked out of the car of his vehicle because he driving the vehicle too much. You know, you cannot be able to fly because you didn't inform the government that you're flying. All right, you use enough electricity for the month, so your electricity supply, you know, it has been cut. These things. All right. And it's by your compliance with every single thing that the system put about, the beast system put out, all right, that's the way of you going about worshiping the beast. Hey, this is Revelation 13:15, all right, where it reads, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, all right. Give it life, but which is what bring it into law, put it into practice, put the laws and policies that they have, you know, the measures that they've been carrying about, you know, to put it into practice, into the measure, all these things that they've been implementing, all right, bring it into practice, okay, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, and that kill is both twofold, is both literal and also figuratively, by the way of being ostracized. All right, being ostracized out of society. All right. They are giving you a first hand out. That AI clip, that because that was AI, all right, but that is giving you a first hand look of how it will be. All right, of how it will be. You understand? This is how it will be. All right, and the thing about it is, this is the powers that they are, that the elites. This is the powers that they seek for, to have full control over man, over every single man, woman, and child upon the face of the earth. You know, this is what it is. That's why when you go to Thessalonians, and you go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3, where it reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first." All right, which that falling away was 70 AD. Okay, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Who is that man of sin? Esau, Edom. All right, and he's being revealed, he's being exposed. All right, by the way of the prophets, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, but to the point here, all right, verse 4, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showeth himself that he is God." Okay, so this is the thing about it here. All right, this man has a godlike complex about him. Okay, and he is going about it by the way of these evil means, these evil measures. All right, social credit score system, the RFID microchip, carbon footprint, all right, blockchain technology, and the list goes on and on and on and on. All right, because he sees himself as a god. All right, he sees himself, a matter of fact, he sees himself above the Most High God. This is the reason why, you know, he is actually carving out, a kingdom, basically. Because this new world order that this man is coming with, you know, is basically him carving out a kingdom, you know, according to his likeness, according to his image. All right, to his likeness and his image, which is really, you know, abomination. Let me just put it that way. All right, it's all wickedness. Yeah, verse 5. Salakia, verse 5. "Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time." All right, and this is the time that this man is being revealed to who he truly is. All right, the wicked, they are the Edomites, the wicked, all right, that the Bible speaks of. "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he now will let until he be taken out of the way." So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is allowing this man to carry about and do, all right, all what he has to do. All right, but he could only go so far. Yeah. "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is the chariots. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all powers and signs and lying wonders." And a lot of people is going to be caught. A lot of people is going to get caught into this whole thing here. Just first thing first, by that first trap that is being set up right now, which is the digital ID. All right, that they are carrying about, you know, these, you know, and mandating. All right, all these countries. This is what hey, Trinidad ain't too far. Trinidad ain't far. All right. Trinidad ain't far. To prove something, bear with me. Just take a look at this. All right? Just take a look at this. The Homeland Minister, the Homeland Security Minister, all right, this goofball here, all right, this fucking Johnny Bravo wannabe, all right, by the name of Roger Alexander, all right, aka Cocaine Smoker. May under God give him that name, all right, because you always just talk alone yeah, get the impression that this man, this boss has shot before he come out and start to speak. All right, but nevertheless, all right, government, this is what he said, government may follow China's social media policy to combat reckless users. All right, and when you go on research China and the social media policies and whatnot, all right, it ties into your social credit score system. So basically, what? Come on, read between the lines. Read between the lines. In order for them to really enforce that, all right, in order for them to really enforce that to the highest of orders, you know, they had to come about with the digital ID and what have you, so forth. All right, where now in order for you to access, they will make it in order for you to access the internet, you have to have the digital ID. All right, and when you sort of post things that, you know, is not in agreement with the government and what have you, so forth, you know, days where the social credit score starts to comes in. All right, where you know, is not in coinciding with the government, with whatever it may be. All right, and before you know it, you start to get a low score. Your score start to go down. All right, to the point where you get locked out. They shut down your chip. All right, this is what it is. But yet still, fools that hate knowledge, all right, fools that hate knowledge, okay, they despise the truth. They despise the truth, all right. Fools that hate knowledge, yeah, they despise this truth when the truth is literally before you, for your own safety, for your own good. All right? You rather lead the people down a precipice when they could just simply just go with the truth. Not go with the flow, you know, go with the truth. Go the way of the truth. And, you know, watch it. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander is urging citizens to keep their online comments civil. All right, warning that threats of violence against anyone will not be tolerated. And these are the things. What is going to speed up things like these? You know, people making threatful remarks to the so-called prominent and noble ones within society, such as this guy here on your screen. These are the things that is going to, situations such as these is what they're going to use to fast track the digital ID and what have you, so forth, and the whole infrastructure, to fast track the whole infrastructure. All right, all in the name of what? Security, all in the name of safety and security. But, you know, really and truly, it's not safety and security. It's all about full control, total control. Having total control. There is what it is. All right, you think they can solve crime, or they want to solve crime? They don't want that. They need for crime to spiral out of control, so that they could come with the solution, problem reaction solution. You know, but hey, a lot of dumb jakes, they can't see it for what it is. Bear with me. Yeah? They can't see it for what it is. So it says that, going back to the scripture, 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie. And this is what a lot of our people in the position that they're in right now, because they refuse to accept the truth. This is the reason why I went all down with the scripture here, because they refuse to think this truth here. All right, this man sees himself as a God. All right, this man sees himself as a God and seek to have total control over the masses. All right, so he's going by the way of what? Technology. All right, the whole world is going in an age of technocracy. All right. So you telling me all this technology that this man have here and whatnot so forth that he's coming about with, he's not going to use it? All right, he's not going to use it to have the people under subjection and total control, total obedience. It's by obedience is how you're going to worship the beast. You being obedient to every single thing that the beast push forth. All right? Which is the European Union and NATO and America, you understand? Well, America is the horde that ride the beast, all right? But this thing here this is the image, all right? The image of the beast is the system and the policies that they have that coincides with the system, all right? The laws and all these things, that is the image of the beast. And when the beast, when they say that the image of the beast should both speak, all right, it's speaking of the laws and everything put into play and carried out, being enforced. All right. Under draconian measures. Under draconian measures, that is where it is. Watch me, the things that is about to take place upon the face of the earth, boy. You people is gonna bawl. You people is gonna bawl and scream. Alright? This whole thing here is all I what? Is to have you, especially you Jakes, to have you all enslaved again. But this time the chains ain't gonna be around your neck and on your hands and on your feet, but it will be within you. The chains will be within you by the way of technology. Yeah? By the way of technology. This is what it is. This is what it is. Yeah? When the scripture talk about the evil days, this is what it is. For the time, rendering the days for the time as evil, that roughly paraphrasing. This is this watchman. When they implement this thing here, you always going to hold your head and bowl. 15-minute cities, carbon footprint. You can't buy this amount of cheese or this amount of milk or this amount of meat. You're allotted to those limited purchases. All right? Programmable money. All right? Programmable digital fiat money, fiat currency. Because I wouldn't say money. All right? But currency. That is programmed. So picture yourself in this whole dilemma, all right? And you could only get 1 ton of baby milk for the month. For the month. All right? Picture scenarios like that. Picture scenarios of 1 pack of rice. All right, and you have a household of what? 3, 4, 5, and that is for the month. Or maybe or maybe 2 weeks or whatever they put it. I'll be more believers monthly. They will, you know. And we ain't talk about the taxations as yet. All right, we ain't talk about the taxations as yet, and utilities and all these things that they're gonna be automatically be taken out of your account via your chip. Automatically, that's how they go into the computer, and yeah, that is where it is. That is why when I go to Matthew 24, let's take a look at that. Matter of fact, I'll go to let's take a look at that. Matthew 24 and 21. Matthew 24:21, where it reads, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." All right? This is what it is, man. The type of technology and the usage of the technology that they have right now, all right, that is going to have the people under pain and suffering. Hey, the world has never seen such thing before. Although, you know, there's nothing new under the sun, but this, the world has never seen such thing like that before. You understand? Verse 22, "And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." All right? Because it's going to be so, a dystopian nightmare, but a dystopian nightmare is nothing to look forward to. That is why when I go to the Apocrypha, when I go to 2nd Ezra chapter 2, I believe it's 13, 2nd Ezra 2 and 13, where it reads, "Go, and ye shall receive, pray for few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch." And this is what we're praying for the Lord to hasten His coming. This is the mindset that we should be in. Because the Lord said, if you don't shorten the days, there will be no flesh saved. We just read that. Because this man is hell-bent on enslaving the world. All right? He sees himself as a God. All right? And this thing, this digital, it coming to Trinidad. All right? Just recently, when this UNC had taken power, with this same Alexander, all right, they're looking to bring out laws that you must have an ID on you at all times, you know. And we already knew what it was. We, the men of the Lord, you know, we who in the shoot here, we already know what he is coming about with. We already know that ID he's speaking about is the digital ID, all right, which going to transcend into the chip, the RFID microchip. You understand? Ain't no two ways about it. Ain't no two ways about it. All right. So he's speaking of social media users and bringing about measures that China is carrying about. All right. It just shows that they are ready to implement, you know, what they need to implement, you know, in Trinidad here, pursuant to the mark of the beast, to bring about the mark of the beast. All right. This thing had this statement that he made this thing it made international news, you know. It actually made international news. As a matter of fact, bear with me. Okay, so listen this here. This is international news. Okay, Okay, but the news channel, but nevertheless, listen this.
So here's what happened. The Homeland Security Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Roger Alexander, sat down, he picked up a pen, and he wrote directly to the US Embassy, not about crime, not about visas, but about Trinidadians that are living overseas and what they are posting online. The accusation? They are spreading fear. That's right, according to Trinidad Express.
It's not no freaking fear the spread, and the people them are speaking the truth. All right, you see the thing is this is the thing here with with these Freemasons. All right, this is the thing with these Freemasons. They think they're too smart for their own good, you know. They have all the wisdom, knowledge. All right, and the masses, the people, you know, everybody else, you know, they are just a bunch of dum-dums, according to Sanford. Yeah, you know, everybody is just a big dum-dum. All right. We know what has taken place. We know what has taken place pursuant to America, Venezuela, and where Trinidad is concerned. All right, we know that war is imminent. War is not even on the horizon. It's on your doorstep and knocking on your door, waiting to come in. All right, and you along with your rest of cronies, with the head crony, which is Kamala, ain't telling the people nothing. All right, not giving the people answers, having them like fish out of water. You understand? And the people seeing things taking place, things boiling. All right, the pot is about to overflow. All right, but people spreading fear. You all are having people in fear with the friggin' shit that you all doing. All right, implicating the citizens in this whole charade, this whole shit show. All right, and now you're running. You go into the U.S. embassy, basically the U.S. government. All right, to track down Trinidadians living abroad, so-called Trinidadians living abroad. All right, to revoke the stay, revoke the visas, revoke the green card, wherever, all because of the social media content and whatever, so forth. But that just goes to show that is the beast itself speaking there for you. That is the beast speaking there for you. All right. Because Trinidad is a province of this new and revised Roman Empire, which is America, all right. And Trinidad is siding with the beast. So, what that shows you, he writing pen to paper, all right, to the U.S. government. What that shows you, all right, that they will go hook, line, sinker, all right, with this digital ID and whatnot, so forth, and the whole infrastructure, all right, implement the whole, because I can remember Brother Karataza was giving us, the brothers here in Trinidad, some information pursuant to these data collecting centers, all right, that they built all throughout Trinidad, all right, all throughout Trinidad and Tobago, these data collecting centers, all right, which is to collect all these data, all right, of the people and whatnot, so forth, which is basically blockchain technology. So come on. The RFID chip is going to come about, all right, but the digital ID is what is going to set the tone. All right, let's go.
Alexander claims that some Trinidadians that are living in the US with US visas, green cards, and even dual citizenships, they are using social media to push defamatory, inflammatory, intentional propaganda against the country, be it videos, be it live streams, be it online news shows. And he says that these broadcasts, they are creating panic at home. Well, now let me tell you about the explosion.
Now, and watch it. And watch it. Watch it. This also is going to bring about the famine of the word. Alright? This also is going to bring about the famine of the word. Watch and you go see something.
Of request here. In his letter to Charge d'Affaires, Dr. Jennifer, the minister asked for something really dramatic. The US should revoke their visas. Yes, cancel the travel privileges of Trinidadians that are living abroad because of what they say online. The reason? National security. Alexander believes that these online...
See what I talk about? He said national security. No, it ain't about no freaking national security. It's all about control. Control. Alright, have control over the behavioral patterns of the people. Make sure that they be obedient. Enforce their obedience. There's what it is. National security is just the ploy. It's just the smoke screen. Alright? They're not about your security. They're all about your freaking control. They want to control you guys.
They are shaking public trust, fueling fear, and hurting the country's stability. And now he is asking Washington to step in and punish them. That's right, the Express says that the letter will reach the US Embassy this particular week. Now the entire region is on the edge. This controversy isn't happening in isolation. Caribbean politics is already really tensed. Trinidad battling misinformation. In fact, St. Vincent accusing foreign players of meddling in its elections. Diaspora influencers are gaining huge power online. Now here, governments are feeling the heat, and some say that the fire is coming from abroad. So here's the bigger question, ladies and gentlemen. Will citizens abroad criticize their homeland online? Or it is free speech? Or is it a national security threat? Now that debate has now landed directly on the desk of the United States Embassy. And Trinidad and Tobago waits for Washington's next move.
Yeah. That's why. Let's take a look at Psalm 64. Psalm 64 and 1. Psalm 64 and 1. Hear my voice, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Because what these people are, the wicked, and what they are doing are working iniquity upon the masses, especially on you, Jake. Alright, and you have this sellout, this big sellout nigger, alright, this big sellout nigger, running to his massa. Alright, this big sellout nigger by the name of Roger Alexander running to his massa, alright, because they are seeing that, the people are not stupid and you do not have control over the narrative. All right, they're losing control over the narrative, so they have no choice but to what? But to come out, and bring about, their policies and what have you, so forth. To have the people under their control. All right? There's where it is. This big sellout. Alright? That is why the scripture saying Psalms 1. Psalms 1 and 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. And this is what Alexander is guilty of. Alright? Because he is sitting amongst the council and the sinners, alright, and the scornful, all in what? All in wickedness. Yeah, all in wickedness. So going back to the Psalm 64. Psalm 64 and 4. It says, A matter of fact, Psalm 64 and 3, Salakia, all right, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the poor, and suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right? That's why when I go to Psalms 10, I'll go to the blue letter. Psalms 10 and 1, it reads, Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Yeah? For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth. All right? And what's their heart's desire? To have full control over man. All right? Via a microchip. All right? Via a microchip. Okay? The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh Baal Shem Yahshua is not in his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above, out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Because why? He's the one in ruling. All right? He's the one in charge. He's the one that is ruling. All right? So he could afford to puff at his enemies. He could afford to, Yeah, there's where it is. So coming back to the Psalm 64 and 5, it reads, They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, Who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. All right? Both the inward thought of them, of every one of them, and their heart is deep. All right? This whole infrastructure, this thing wasn't no fly-by-night thing yet. This thing was years in the making, to the point where they have it to perfection right now. It's just for them, to implement everything and make it mandatory and what have you, so forth, so forth. But you all going to see the hell condition, the conditions of hell that this social credit score and carbon footprint, all right, system is going to have you all under. You all is going to see it. Yeah? You all is going to see it. This is the reason why we had to stay focused on, and there's a lesson even to myself and all. Because we in a time that, in a time that is nothing to really take lightly. There's the thing, there's the whole situation about it is here. All right? Because we are dealing with a race, a wicked, evil, demonic race of people. All right? That is about to bring hell upon you Israelites, upon you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. There is what it is. Yeah? This is the type of people that we are amongst here. Let's go to the scripture here, Ephesians 6 and 10, where it reads, Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, all right, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahshua, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles, the devices, the wickedness, all right, the enchantments and all these things, all right, of the devil, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is what we are up against. This is what we are up against, and this is why we need Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? All right, because such a one that is of this nature, all right, trying to fight this man in a carnal battle, you will lose. Alright, so you will need that divine power, which is Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, alright, to fight your battle, this great battle here that we up against. This is where it is. You living in 15-minute city, alright, you can't buy what you want to buy, alright, you can't do what you want to do, you can't say what you want to say, you can't live a righteous way that you want to live, because righteousness will be outlawed, yeah? Righteousness will be outlawed. And anytime you stand for righteousness, you're going to make yourself a prey. All right? They're going to prey on you. They're going to gnash on you. They're going to, hey. This is what it is. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand and stand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. This is what it is. This is what it is, man. You, if you all think that this digital ID is something for your benefit and what have you so forth, you all sadly friggin' mistaken, yes, but anyhow, it is what it is. It is what it is. I hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp signing out. Saying Kal Alayam La Allahayanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great milestone that will well. Salutation unto the brothers who preach and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat. Wabad Babal unto this place, boy. Wabad Babal. This place had to go. It had to freaking go. Shalom Yashala.